You start with alcohol and you start with marijuana, right? That's kind of like the starter drugs during adolescence that people kind of start playing with. When did you start dabbling with harder stuff like cocaine and heroin and crystal meth? Like when do you get into that level playing field?
Yeah, I think most people, at least back in our day, started with the weed and the alcohol, and that's
Right.
that's what it was for me. Gasoline was something I was huffing at 12 too, the same time as those others. I that was as heavy as a inhalant that I was doing at the time. Now the cocaine was at 16. There was a guy that was in my school whose dad worked late hours in the hotel business, so he had a lot of coke. He would stay up late at night, the father would, and we got our hands on his supply. So we were snorting coke at 16. We were smoking coke within a couple of weeks. There was no Google to learn how to rock this stuff up. We had heard how to do it with baking soda. So two little 16-year-olds cracked out, not normal. Hallucinogens came shortly after, everything from mushrooms
Right.
um, to acid, LSD. Now,
Mescaline was another
mes-
big one back then. Yeah.
mescaline came later. That was in my 20s. But here's another one. I remember that when I was into cocaine in my late teens, someone gave me a line of this stuff called speed. And well, I had done some crosstops before, which are old school, like speed, right? But this person gave me this stuff called speed, which was also called
Crack?
crank.
Crank. Okay.
Crank.
Okay.
Okay. Crack was definitely when we would rock up the cocaine. That was crack,
So
smoking
that's
crack.
different. So that's completely different.
Much
Crank and
different.
crack. Okay. Gotcha.
Crank was it was biker dope. It was like basically this meth that if you did a little line of it, you would go until a few days later. Like you'd be up, you'd forget to eat, you'd forget to sleep, and you were just on one. And so I tried it one time in my later teens when I was already doing coke, and I didn't like it, and I didn't think I would like it. But what happened was I also had body dysmorphia. So because of me not being satisfied with the way my body looked,
Mm-hmm.
being this high school kid that like saw other people around him getting these big nice physiques, I come to find that they were using steroids. So I started getting my hands on steroids, and when I would use steroids, that would enhance my muscles and make me look more muscular and big and all. The problem was that when I would come off a cycle of steroids, I'd smoke a gang of weed, and when I would smoke all this weed, I would eat, and then I would gain weight, and I was kind of becoming overweight, and so that would definitely mess with my body dysmorphia.